What is best in life? To crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentation of their women.
Excuse me while I whip this out.
All right. What is it? Tuesday night? Must be the Tuesday Night Radio Baloney Live. I am your host, Richie Baloney. How's everybody doing? Who we got in the chat so far? Looks like we got Xerxes, Trudeau survivor, Rosie. What's up, you guys? We got Xerxes in the chat as well. Good to see you. So as everybody knows, we're streaming on Rumble, YouTube, X, and Locals. Every time somebody likes the stream, also subscribing as well. Every time somebody likes the stream, though, they get a free dose of Radio Baloney Good Karma. I build up this internal reservoir of good karma every day, preparing for the streams, making the videos. And if I kept it all to myself, that would be bad karma. Obviously, I can't do that. I have to keep giving it away. So I give it to you. And guess what? First like, that could be double good karma, triple good karma, quadruple. Who knows how much? It could be an enormous amount. Trudeau Survivor's got number 2. So let's say it's quadruple good karma for the first one. So that would make triple good karma for Trudeau Survivor. Congratulations. Nobody's claimed first. Nobody has claimed first. Well, whoever it was, that's 4 times. Quadruple good karma for you, my friend. Alrighty. So tonight will be a short one, I think. And I mean it this time. I always get dragged in. I try to get out and they pull me back in, but tonight's going to be a short one. It might even be like an hour and a half, something like that. It'll probably end up being 4 hours because I just said that, but it shouldn't be. If there's any decency left in this world, it won't be that long. It'll be a short one tonight. Let's see. Rosie's going to be distracted most of the time. Everybody, be aware. Rosie's going to be distracted most of the time. Working till around 12 o'clock Eastern. Yikes. In and out of the chat. Well, I'm glad that you stopped in to say hi. All right. What else is going on here? What else you guys saying? Let's see. All right. Well, I guess that's it. I guess we might as well just get started, huh? For the people watching, before we get started, we'll go through the menu, but for the people watching on YouTube, everybody else, don't worry about it. But the people on YouTube, there is a new channel, Radio Baloney News. Please go there. That is going to be all of the world news, U.S. news, woke mind virus stuff, the meme reviews. All of that is going to be on Radio Baloney News now. It's a separate channel. It's not the channel you're watching right now. If you go to the homepage, the featured channel is Radio Baloney News. Subscribe to that now. I'm telling you right now, the YouTube algorithm is not going to help me out on this, so I'm going to kind of have to rely on you guys, right? Fight against those gatekeepers. Don't let them control your life. Subscribe to what you want to subscribe to. Watch what you want. Go subscribe now, Radio Baloney News. Let's go through the menu. There's not that much. Jimmy Kimmel, he had a big showing when he came back from his suspension, and he just lost all of it again. he got his biggest audience, I think, in years, and now it's all gone. And that's exactly what everybody predicted, I guess, isn't it? We'll take a look at that. We're going to take a look at some stuff from Pierre Poilievre here, who's really, really in fine form. Actually talking about Charlie Kirk there, and he's talking about property rights, which is a big issue now with our insane courts just deciding to give land title to, the indigenous groups here. It's total insanity, and it's heading for, frankly, disaster if it keeps going this way. The UK, here's a pub that's just running this on the side. It's Ministry of Truth, War is Peace. They're not happy in the UK with their Labour commie government. Canada, we got another video here, not too long, with the parliamentary budget officer for Canada, who has been giving apocalyptic predictions for what Canadians have in store, what is coming to Canada under present leadership. And it's scary, but we have to see it because it's important. As many Canadians as possible need to see this. We got some memes. We got some WEF. I don't even want to look at it, but what are you going to do? You got to look at it. It's awful. These people are terrible. It's a bunch of global supervillains, bunch of James Bond villains, but we got to take a look at it, people. We have to know what's coming. We got some Matt Walsh here. And he's not a big fan of the United States getting Islamicized. We've got Michael Rapaport, who has really had a turnaround. He used to put all of his energy into being Trump deranged. And all of a sudden he realized after October 7th that the left hates him. And he didn't realize how much they hated him. And now he does, after seeing everybody celebrating on the streets while the bodies were still warm on October 7th. It was 2023 now. So anyway, he's kind of he's in a different place than he was when he was just fixated on Trump derangement syndrome. And yeah, so we got a bunch of stuff in here. There's like animals and stuff and that crazy dingbat. And then we got like a Vulture and like some Bill Maher and stuff. And yeah, a little bit of stuff in here. We're going to go through it all it's going to be a pretty quick stream tonight, people. Mercifully short for all of us with our important lives to get back to. All right. Let's see. All right, let's get to it. There's a link in there. There's a link in the chat. Do we need to do that? Maybe we should do it. Hold on. Let me pull up the link. Copy link address. All right. Let me check it out first before we go live with it. But since we've got not a lot of stuff on the menu here, we can check out that. All right. What's going on here? This says, crazy pregnant women take Tylenol to protest JFK. Why would they do that? Why would anybody be that dumb?
Anybody pregnant in here? You're pregnant? Oh, congratulations. Here, I got some Tylenol for you. Here. It's fine. It's fine. You see these pregnant women on Instagram just like, fuck you, RFK, Yes. You down in the null? You taking any null?
Yeah.
Are you taking Tylenol?
Yeah.
Really? Oh.
Talk about it.
Well, you'll be welcoming an Elon Musk any day now. She took the Tylenol. So. RFK said it causes autism.
That was good. That Elon Musk thing was very good. Should took the Tylenol. All right, let's continue.
Maybe. I feel like I probably, got hit by that a little bit. I'm not all there. My mom had a lot of headaches growing up. My name's Tyler. That's pretty damn close to Tylenol, isn't it? I wish RFK put out a commercial. It's like, in response to the women taking Tylenol after we've proven it causes autism, we have a new medication called retardinol. I recommend retardinol to far left liberal retards who are killing their kids. Take it 5 times a day. Side effects may include not being a liberal cunt, thinking logically, not thinking men can have babies, being attracted to the opposite sex. That's retardinol. Ask your doctor about retardinol. I think I will.
That's good. He's very funny, Tyler Fisher. And his origin story of him getting red-pilled was that he could not get work because he kept being told by casting agents, like managers, that they weren't interested in straight white men. And that's what red-pilled him. Well, how am I supposed to have a life exactly? But the weird thing is, I find this really, really strange because it's just, this is absolute TDS in its most extreme and tragic form. Hold on a second. Harvard, Tylenol causes autism and ADHD. Here. All of a sudden, Harvard's not good enough for him anymore, right? If it was a study that said it doesn't, they'd be happy with that. But here, this is this year, August 20th, 2025. Using acetaminophen during pregnancy may increase children's autism and ADHD risk. It's Harvard right there. That should be good enough for them. They love Harvard. And RFK Jr. didn't even say you can't take it. He just said that there should be caution. That when doctors, health professionals are saying, take Tylenol, be careful. Try to minimize it as much as possible. He didn't even say never take it. He just said be mindful and let's put something about this on labels so people know. Informed consent, the thing that apparently lefties don't care for. They think that's fascism now. Apparently, informed consent is now, something that was forced on the German people in the 1930s by their fascist government. What a weird thing. Informed consent is important. They used to think that, right? The people complaining about pharmaceutical companies before Trump were all lefties. This is how you know they never had any principles in the first place, right? All right. And by the way, I also want to look up something else here. All right. Let's see. Link between Tylenol, min Ofen. I think I got it right. ADHD, autism. Because this was not this crazy thing before RFK mentioned anything about it. How about Mount Sinai study supports evidence that prenatal acetaminophen use may be linked to increased risk of autism and ADHD. This is this year as well. This is August 13th, 2025. What do these people need? What's this one here? Acetaminophen used during pregnancy and children's risk of autism, ADHD, and intellectual disability. This is from 2024. Here's one from 2024. Research shows no causal link. Okay, but there are other places saying there is, like Harvard. That's not a far-right blog, all right? Harvard isn't a far-right blog. That used to be good enough for the lefties. How about Johns Hopkins University? Again, not a far right-wing blog. Let's see. What are these science deniers at Johns Hopkins saying? Taking Tylenol during pregnancy associated with elevated risk for autism, ADHD. So imagine how demented you have to be by Trump derangement syndrome to not even bother looking this stuff up. Just start gobbling the Tylenol. Trump said it. Trump said it. Who cares? It's worth a bit of autism to prove Trump wrong or right or something. How did we get on that? Oh, yeah, it was you guys that did that to me. All right. All right. Let's get back to the chat for a second. We got so much time. So much time. All right. What are you guys talking about? Oh, you know what? I forgot to put the chat up. There we go. Darn it. Let's see. Oh, Xerxes was number one. Like, that's quadruple good karma for you, Xerxes. Quadruple. What are you going to do with all that good karma? Not have bad things happen to you. That's what's going to happen. Rosie says, that link is very funny. Only had time to watch the beginning. It's very good. He's very funny. Let's see. And he's another guy that has probably gotten bigger because he was discriminated against by woke people than if he hadn't been. It's like Shane Gillis, right? Kicked off of SNL for not being woke enough, for, I think, doing an Asian accent like 5 years previously on a podcast. Way bigger than he. In fact, SNL would have stunted his career by comparison. Xerxes says, I heard a woman overdosed on Tylenol and is on a ventilator. In fact, let's find out, actually. Let's spend another second on that. Here we go. Fact check. Hold on. Well, we can check out Snopes here. Not that we can trust it, but inspecting rumor claiming pregnant woman overdosed on Tylenol to prove Trump wrong. Did this actually happen? Let's see. So a video began. So it's about, it's going to be 6 a.m. finally. And for those of you who don't follow me on Twitter, I recommend that you do. I got a call, a very frantic call at 4 o'clock in the morning from a husband whose wife is now dying of liver failure on a ventilator in an ICU because she was trying to prove that Tylenol doesn't cause autism because of what Trump said on the news. It's also from a Harvard study. I mean, it's hard to believe anybody would actually do that. Right, because it's not like you get the instant gratification. You take the Tylenol and say, see, no autism, see? Like, you kind of got to wait till the baby's born. Like, are you sure you want to take that risk? Like, I don't believe in demons, right? But I don't have a Ouija board in the house. I don't sit around playing a Ouija board, Because, I may not believe in demons, but I'm still afraid of them, obviously, like any sensible person. So just, you're pregnant. There's this thing, just because Trump said it. Would anybody I don't doubt there are people Trump deranged enough to actually go ahead and take it. And then, 3 months or 6 months later or something, they can say, see, not that they would even know then, but The story was purely anecdotal, despite dozens of other platforms sharing the claim. Serotech did not provide any evidence, blah, blah, blah. No credible news outlets reported her claim. Well, the credible news outlets are not credible is the problem. Several hundred people die every year in the U.S. due to overdose from acetaminophen. Serotech has a history of making up or spreading health misinformation. Here's the problem, is that when they say misinformation, I just assume it's just information. I don't know. So it looks like this was highly speculative. Well, a highly dubious claim. No definitive evidence. You know, though, there was some woman out there, some Trump deranged woman who just decided, Trump said it, so I have to prove it. See, no autism. Well, I'll get back to you in a year, 2 years. You know, I don't know, how early can you tell if there's autism? So I don't know about all of that. What the hell else are you guys talking about in here? Let's see. Radio streamer, how you doing? Good to see you. Tylenol and TDS, that's a strange way of saying natural selection. Trudeau Survivor says, obviously Harvard is only trying to get on Trump's good side. Exactly. Let's see. Brian Watson says, what is the protest still going on in Portland? Well, I guess they would be, wouldn't they? Brian Watson, how you doing, Brian? The protest in states so violent in big Portland and Chicago, well organized. Yeah. I've seen a bunch of footage. I don't know if I have anything ready for tonight. I'm sure I've got some stuff put away, but let's see. What's going on with Kimmel? We'll be getting to that in a second. Chef Rico, how you doing? Rosie is here, but she's in and out because she's at work. Trudeau Survivor says, are pregnant women taking the jab to spite Trump? Well, that'd be a weird thing because he championed the spike. So I think they're kind of confused about that because on one hand, he praises like Operation Warp Speed and says it's like the greatest thing ever. But he also said, you shouldn't be forced to take it. So I think it's confusing. They're not sure what to do about that. Regarding Trump. All right. Well, shall we just get to, maybe I'll do a quick ad read before I forget, actually. Why not? Why not do that? Let's see. What have we got? Let's do the NFL tune-in season. How about that? Hey, football fanatics. Are you ready for some prime time NFL action? Tune into the Westwood One for all the gridiron glory that you crave. From jaw-dropping touchdowns to game-changing plays. Don't miss a moment of the excitement. Catch every snap, every tackle, every victory on Westwood One. You can listen to the NFL on the NFL app, on the Westwood One Sports app, on WestwoodOneSports.com via Westwood One station streams, or by asking Alexa to open Westwood One Sports. If it's on the NFL, it's on Westwood One. I love it. I live to read the Westwood One ad. I love the ad. I love the way it's written. I love everything about it. It's a beautiful ad. Westwood One is beautiful. Beautiful. My pleasure. My pleasure. Let's see. Radio Streamer says, what the hell is that? What the hell is that accent? Well, you see, I've got to make the ads fun for myself. So I just developed that accent. It's like a little bit of a kind of a bit of Vincent Price in there, perhaps, but deeper though. And I don't know, I just think it makes it fun and more memorable, to be honest. All right. Radio Streamer says, but 8.5 out of 10 for the effort. Well, I believe that 8.5 out of 10 is the most you can get out of 10. I think. I'm not a mathematician or a biologist. Radio Streamer said, sounds like an accident, not an accent. Well, that's just mean. That's just mean. Why do you want to hurt me? Why do you want to hurt me? I'm just out here. I'm doing my thing. I'm out here for you guys. Do you think I wanted to do this stream tonight? You think I wanted to do that? Hell no. But I knew you guys would be here, and I had to show up for you guys. Raider Service says you're rooting for 7.5 out of 10. I don't care because everybody knows 7.5 out of 10 is the most you can get out of 10. So, yeah, I'm just fine. Thank you very much. All right, let's get to Kimmel. Jimmy Kimmel shed 64% of audience after very short-lived rating spike following suspension. So, yes, Jimmy Kimmel got on TV, lied for some insane reason, lied about the Charlie Kirk assassin, very much saying that he was a MAGA, refused to apologize, got suspended, came back, still didn't apologize, and did actually, I think, made it even worse in his return. But he did get a rating spike. A lot of people who hate Jimmy Kimmel and will never watch again, I'm sure, tuned in just to see what he was going to say. And then after they heard what he said, decided, oh, I'm never tuning in again. So he shed 64% of his audience after the short-lived rating spike following suspension. So let's take a quick peek here. You knew it wasn't going to last. You knew he'd get a spike there, but you knew it wouldn't last. On Thursday, Jimmy Kimmel Live averaged 2.3 million total viewers. A staggering, I say staggering, 64% drop from the 6.5 million who turned in for Tuesday's much-hyped return. So that will be his high forever now, because next year I doubt very much he'll get renewed unless he takes a massive pay cut and they cut the budget of the show, because we know that Colbert was losing like $40 million a year. It can't be much less for Kimmel, especially considering he had a smaller audience than Colbert. Kimmel shed even more viewers in the advertiser coveted demographic of adults aged 25 to 54, with Thursday's episode hemorrhaging 73% of viewers from the critical category. 73%. And that's, that's the coveted demo, because they buy stuff. Jimmy Kimmel Live pulled in 1.7 million viewers among the key demo for Tuesday's return, but plummeted to 465,000 only 48 hours later, which is still better than he had been doing, right? So it's going to get worse for him. These numbers are going to continue to drop, and pretty rapidly. Jimmy Kimmel Live also lost significant viewers in the younger demographic of adults 18 to 49, managing 1.2 million on Tuesday, but quickly losing 73%. That's 3 out of 4 to settle for only 334,000 on Thursday. That's still really good for him. That's not good. That's not enough for his show to make money, but it's better. It's better than it was. Now, here's his ratings. So going from back 2010 to 2025. And as you can see, for all of the late night shows, the Tonight Show, Late Night, Jimmy Kimmel Live, you can see they've all been declining. I mean, there's been cable cutting. It's not just how terrible they are, right? It's not, but it certainly is. That does play a big role, because all of them have completely alienated half of what would have been their audience. So none of this is surprising. Certainly, this is a worse decline than they would have seen had they just, I don't know, like talked to actors, had idiotic conversations with actors and celebrities. They would have done better. You can see here, 24-25, 0.16. So that's 160,000 people in the 18 to 49 ratings. That's way worse than like 1 million YouTube channels. That's not good. There's no way these shows can be making money. And you can see in that demo, just going back to 2013, it was 710,000. So it's just a total cratering. I mean, here you see the Tonight Show had 1.54 million back in 2013-14. So yeah, disastrous. So he's up a little bit, but I don't expect it to stay. It's gonna go straight back down to here again, and probably even lower. All right. And the other thing is the shows are terrible and boring. And nobody cares what, three rando celebrities say every night. The other thing is too, celebrity in itself is not what it used to be. It's not, these celebrities, these movie stars aren't really even movie stars anymore. Most people don't even know who they are. There's very few of those big movie stars, of the Brad Pitt or the Tom Cruise. Not many of them. And there's only so many times they can go on these shows. Most celebrities now are just, nobody knows. There's a small slice of people who know who they are, and that's it. So the show in itself, the shows in themselves are just not entertaining anyway. And there is so much more entertainment. There are so many more avenues of entertainment, of things, specific things that you're interested in that you could watch instead of this kind of mutual admiration society that you have with these late night talk shows, or the celebrity talk shows. So yeah, Jimmy Kimmel, he had his little boost there. I'm sure he felt very good about it. Maybe he even hoped that it would hang around. Those viewers would hang around. No, they're abandoning him again very, very quickly. All right. Let's get back to you guys. What are you guys saying? Let's see. Trudeau Survivor says, is there any update on the motive of the LDS shooter? Someone in his family or friend circle has to know something. My understanding of it is that he was involved with a Mormon woman. Things went badly. He hates Mormons. And yeah, and he lost it. Let's see. The only way you're going to get chocolate is if we do the they, them. Is anybody out there need energy? Tell me right now. Anybody out there need some energy? That special energy? Just when there's only one kind of energy that'll do. Anybody out there need that? Because I'm getting ready. My finger is hovering above the button that will bring you that special energy that you need when nothing else will do. There's only one thing that can bring you around. Raider Streamer says, I am so very low. Well, have you tried having some coffee? A couple of double espressos? Have you tried smoking crack or meth? That nice blue meth from that Breaking Bad show. Have you tried chewing on a couple of polar bear adrenaline glands? You have, and still nothing works. Well, I don't know what what more? There's nothing more powerful than a polar bear adrenal gland. And if that didn't work for you, I don't know what kind of energy I could bring. They them energy. They them energy. They them energy. They them energy. And teapot. And teapot. There we go. Now everybody knows what it means now. If I do that, then I have to show chocolate. It's a weird thing on the channel. I don't like it. I don't like having to do it, but it was the result of tough negotiations with the chat. And if I show the they, them energy, I have to show chocolate. Here we offer some chocolate. I don't like it. Why did it show Karen Bass? Well, there's some chocolate muffins there. Look at that. That's some minty chocolate. That's how we say it on this channel, by the way. Chocolate. There, look at that with mint in it. Delicious. All right, I fulfilled my obligations. Now we can move on. La 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 la. All right. It's Tuesdays, and Tuesday is them energy night. I still think they're not sending their best, though. They need a better spokesperson. Let's see. Rosie says, that was yucky chocolate. Well, I mean, there was nothing specified in the contract what kind of chocolate I had to show. All right. Well, you'll get more energy later. Just nag me later. Nag me later on. All right. I got to get to some Canadian politics here, people. It's just the way it has to be. All right. So, Canada is a dystopian wasteland, unfortunately. So, here we have Pierre Poilievre. This was posted by Jingle He. Here we have Pierre Poilievre on the new podcast with Travis Donraj called Can't Be Censored, or CBC for short. Yes, he's the guy who quit from the CBC because they were essentially censoring him. And they wouldn't let him have the conservatives on that he wanted to have on. Can't Be Censored. There's the podcast there. So Pierre Poilievre has done a full interview with him, but here is a clip from it. And in this clip, he's talking about the assassination of Charlie Kirk and the importance of free speech. Let's take a quick look.
All we can offer is our condolences and love to his family. But there unfortunately has been a mentality that has grown across the English-speaking world that if you don't agree with someone, censor them, shut them up, fire them, destroy their lives, and that has to stop.
Yeah, trendsetter. Whoa, legal. Yeah, it's called progressivism, right? It's constantly progressing towards violent authoritarianism. I guess that's why they call it progressivism. Yeah, unfortunately, what we're seeing is that liberalism appears to be on its last legs. It's grievously injured, and it was no conservative that did it. It was the left. You know, if liberalism is dead, the left did it, not conservatives. And this is a feature of leftism, of radical leftism, radical progressivism, is that it's authoritarian. It does not brook any dissent, any disagreement whatsoever. And now we are dealing with the consequences of that having infiltrated every institution. We saw after Charlie Kirk was assassinated that it wasn't like fringe weirdos celebrating. Not just fringe weirdos. It was doctors, lawyers, legal aides, professors. The professors are no big surprise. But, career people, just normal people. It's become normal in the left now. I'm not saying it's all of them, but it's like 50% or at least sometimes okay with political violence. And that's polling. That's what the polling is telling us. So unfortunately, it's not a bug with the modern left. It's a feature of the modern left. Violent authoritarianism. And it's something that's going to it's something that it's something that is going to have to be dealt with and grappled with for a long time, because you're not going to convince that professor or that lawyer or that doctor or that nurse or that restaurateur that they're wrong about it. It's in their heads now for good. So yeah, it's a problem. And this is what happens when everybody falls asleep and lets lunatics take over every single institution. And the universities are allowed to just pump out a new red guard every year. Here is Pierre Poilievre speaking on his letter to Liberal Justice Minister Fraser about BC property rights being eroded after a controversial ruling involving Cowichan tribes. So there are very concerning things happening with activist judges, activist courts awarding land rights to Indigenous tribes in Canada. And there is really nothing good that can come of this. It's just going to be conflict. People are becoming very worried very worried about their private property, you know, the house they've been paying for 30 years, that sort of thing. Let's hear Pierre Poilievre talk about it.
Sarah Ritchie with the Canadian Press.
Thank
you wrote
you,
a letter recently to the Justice Minister about the BC Supreme Court decision in
Yes.
the Cowichan case. What exactly do you think that the court got wrong that the government ought to argue?
Well, the court got property rights wrong. The court found in its ruling that the fee simple property rights that have existed for hundreds of years and are the foundation of our very economy should be overturned. That would devastate our entire economy. It is already causing investment to flee our country. People are not going to build factories, open up jobs, start businesses, or even buy homes if they think that their land could be confiscated and given to someone else. So we oppose this ruling, and we call on the federal government to make legal arguments at the appeal level to overturn it. We hope that the case is heard quickly so that we can put this matter to rest. We as Conservatives stand for property rights. We want all of the property owners in British Columbia and across Canada to know that we will protect your home. Your home belongs to you, and we will fight against any legal attempts to take it away from you. Thank you.
Yeah, the activists are not just the prime ministers anymore. The activists are, you know, judges, lawyers, you know, bureaucrats. They're in everything at this point. Every institution has been taken over by far left activists. And obviously, as this progresses, this is going to cause major, major problems, right? And you simply can't have a modern country with these sorts of issues for the reasons that he outlined there. I mean, who's going to want to invest in the country if you can't even have, you know, security of your property? It's all total madness, and this is what happens. This is what happens when you let a part-time drama teacher / snowboard instructor named Justin Trudeau take over your country in 2015 and start shaping the country in his own radical progressive image, in his own chaotic, dysfunctional image. This is what happened. Never do that. This is a lesson for the rest of the world. If you're listening from outside of Canada right now or watching from outside of Canada right now, don't elect a drama teacher, snowboard instructor to run your country. Really bad idea. Even if he says he's going to legalize weed, still don't do it. And that's why he got elected, by the way, is to legalize weed. The worst reason to elect a prime minister imaginable. All right. Anyway, let's move on. Hold on. Was this the exact same thing?
Sarah Ritchie with the Canadian Press.
Thank
you wrote
you,
a
Sarah.
letter recently to the Justice Minister about the BC Supreme Court decision in
I think we just watched it. Well, that was the exact same one, wasn't it? Yeah, it was. All right. What's this one here? So here is Pierre Poilievre talking about, well, in the new hate bill and hate symbols bill from the Liberals, they only mention one kind of hate. It's like, you know, the kind from Germany in the 30s. Nothing else. Nothing, no other kind. You know, nothing about those mobs in the street with their flags from the Middle East, you know, and their genocidal slogans. Nothing about any of that. But it was just those guys from Germany in the 30s for some reason, which really has nothing to do with modern Canada. They're not here. Here's Pierre Poilievre talking about Christians may be the number one group that is a victim of hate-based violence. And yeah, there's been over 100 churches burned down in recent years in Canada. Nothing from the federal government, from the Liberal government, not concerned at all. As far as we can tell, they seem to be fairly sympathetic to burning down Christian churches. Certainly nothing about that in any of their hate bills that they've come out with. So let's take a look at what Pierre Poilievre has to say.
This past week, we saw a church burning in Canada, a tragic incident at a church in Michigan, and over 100 incidents of church burning or vandalism since 2021 in Canada.
Yes.
What do you make of the sectarian strife seen targeting towards Christians? Do you think the government's doing enough to combat this, and what would you do?
I think it's terrible. No, the government is not doing enough, and I would do a lot more. So let's recap where we are. 100 churches have been burned. You hear almost nothing from the Liberal government about this. Christians may be the number one group that is victims of hate-based violence. But of course, it's not politically correct to say that. 100 terrorist attacks against Canadian churches. This anti-Christian hate has got to stop. We've seen with this Liberal government is the number of things they've done to allow this. One, they've separated people into groups. Their ideology seeks to identity politics, divides one group against another, and then we're surprised when that leads to violence. Two, the Liberals have reduced criminal penalties for arson, so people are not afraid to get caught burning things down anymore. And three, they have failed to put law enforcement resources where they belong, which is to say going after criminals rather than targeting farmers, duck hunters, and professional sports shooters. So Conservatives would take exactly the opposite approach. We would bring in mandatory prison sentences for extortionists. We would crack down on hate crime, which is more than doubled under the Liberals, with tougher laws that throw criminals in prison. We used to make sure that the foreign criminals that are in our country illegally are kicked out of Canada. And we would redirect resources away from banning duck hunters, farmers, and sports shooters towards more police and border services that will keep all Canadians safe.
The only place I disagree with them there is that I don't like hate laws. I just don't like them. I think you should just punish people for the crimes they commit. Like, just do that. I'm not a big fan of the whole hate. I don't think there should be hate laws or added time on for sentences for an emotion for something as nebulous as hate. You know, I mean, what, do you hate Nazis? Right? Like I think people should be allowed to hate. Again, it's this nebulous thing. Like, you're going to make an emotion illegal? It seems strange to me. But that's the only place I would disagree with them on. And yeah, look, over 100 churches. I mean, obviously there's a problem here. Media is not very interested. Certainly the radical progressive government is not interested. So yeah, I think he's got a point. And I hope that he becomes prime minister so we can start seeing some sanity back in this country. All right. Let's see. All right, that's the same thing. All right, so here's Pierre Poilievre talking about something which is definitely something that is a major irritant for supporters of the Conservative Party in Canada. And it must be for some of the people who vote Liberal as well, just the constant foreign aid when we have a massive national debt, $1.5 trillion. We've got a massive deficit coming up. It's going to be, well, they're saying now 64 billion, but who wants to make it? Who would be surprised if it ended up being over 100 billion at the end of the year? There's a reason why Mark Carney has been trying to hide the numbers and push back the budget as far as possible. So, and also Mark Carney constantly lies. So there's also that. But yeah, I mean, why on earth would we be sending money to foreign? Why would we be sending money, and the kind of money? Why would we be sending money for the kinds of things that we're sending? Like what the last live stream we did, that was it gender just rice in Vietnam. I mean, we can go through some of them. I've got them in a bookmark. Let's see. Let's take a look.
And people can enjoy for 3 or 4 more days before it spoils. And of course, get rid of the inflation tax. We're calling for Mark Carney to reverse his new spending increases, cap spending, cut bureaucracy, consultants, foreign aid. We can't give money abroad when we're not feeding our own people at home. Charity starts at home. Cut foreign aid. Put the money into our country. Instead, let's cut back on the handouts to phony asylum claimants. Stop paying for hotels, fake refugees. Get rid of the corporate welfare handouts to Mark Carney's insiders and friends. Let's bring down the deficit so that we don't have to print money anymore. Get rid of the inflation tax so that people's purchasing power lasts longer. These are positive, and people can enjoy for 3 or 4 more days.
All right. So, in fact, I'm going to show you guys some of the stuff that the government has been spending. This is since Carney. Hold on one sec. Let me just pull up my bookmark, and you guys can see the absurdity here. Hold on. I should be able to locate this pretty quickly. Where is it? Hold on. It's coming. Or maybe it's not. Let's see. Liberal spending. Where is it? Hold on. There we go. All right. Let's bring this sucker up. Okay. So let's see. So we just covered this one. 8.2 million to Vietnam to create gender just rice, greening our rice, gender just low carbon rice value chains in Vietnam. This is what the Vietnamese have been waiting for. This will herald in their new golden age of gender just low carbon rice value chains. The eternal dream of the Vietnamese. Let's see. Hold on. What's this one? So, integrated climate adaptation solutions for the Hindu Kush Himalaya region. Design and implement gender responsive interventions to improve spring shed management, gender responsive policies, strategies, blah, blah, blah. Why is gender responsive interventions any of Canada's business? Why is gender responsive interventions in the Hindu Kush any of Canada's business? I maintain that it's not. And by the way, I thought we were supposed to be against colonialism. Why are we trying to colonize the Hindu Kush Himalaya region 1 with our crazy European left-wing, far-left ideas? Why? Isn't that bad? Isn't colonizing bad? Seems like Global Affairs Canada is trying to colonize those poor people. 20 million to integrate refugees in Germany. How the fuck is that any of Canada's business? How? Gender responsive management of... Don't care. I'm just going to say it right now. This is going to sound... Maybe this sounds a little bit harsh, a little bit callous. I don't give a shit about gender responsive management of conflicts in Germany. I don't care. I don't care about integrating refugees in Germany. None of my business. If they want to do that, they can do it on their own dime. That's fine. What else have we got here? Oh, yeah, 45 million to a nonprofit in London last year to promote gender responsive investments in infrastructure. Don't they have their own money in London? I say that promoting gender responsive investments in infrastructure in London is none of Canada's business. That's London's business. London. All right, you get the point. It's all just an insane waste of money, and it's not getting any better under Carney. It looks like it's getting worse. All right, let's go back to the chat for a second. Let's see. Let's change up the show, the women's sports show. This is a good one. I like the yoga shows. This is a good one. All right. Xerxes says, agree, hate laws are a EU globalist trap. Yeah, I you know what? I hate hate laws. Am I in trouble now? Bristletube, how you doing, Bristletube? Why did my message disappear? I can see it. I can see it. Let's see. Bristletube says, I don't think I've ever seen a country so willing to destroy itself. Yeah, I mean, we've got competition, but yeah, you're right. Let's see. Xerxes says, Poilievre sounded good. I agree. And JDL, how you doing? All right. Bristletube says, maybe England. I fear that country's problems are coming here. Well, they're already here. In some ways, Canada's worse. In some ways, England is worse. The UK is worse. But they're both going to the exact same place. Let's see. Rosie's got some a very interesting chocolate. All right. Do I have to? Well, she is a member, channel member, so I guess I got to suck up to the channel members. All right. Let's go down to the end here. Oh. Hold on, people. You have to stop interrupting me mid-rant here. All right, to look at chocolate. Nobody cares. All right, here we go. God damn it. All right. This is the last time I'm doing this. All right, so what is this? That's not chocolate. That's jewelry. What the hell? Celebrate the sweetest trend of the year with indulgent chocolate diamond styles designed for a timeless, elegant look. It's not chocolate. That's jewelry. You tricked me. Stop tricking me. God damn it. All right, let's move on. Just ruin the show for everybody. All right. Izzy, how you doing? Like number 8. That's 1.25 good karma for you, my friend. Mickey, how you doing? All right. Chef Rico says, going to start an NGO for the alphabet people. The C stands for Chef Rico. Very well. So LGBTQIAI plus C. So we will throw one hell of a party, then donate the rest to an actual charity like Samaritan's Purse. Very good. So from now on, everybody, as long as you understand, from now on, it is a lesbian, gay, bi, trans, queer. What's A again? Is that asexual? Interspecies, I guess, plus and Chef Rico. So it's all of them plus Chef Rico. Let's see. Trudeau Survivor says it was announced today that the Ontario Algoma Steel Factory is getting a $500 million corporate welfare bailout. Well, they're going to have to do that, right? Because Carney's policies are business killers. They're industry killers. So he's just going to, that's how they're going to fake it, right? He's going to try and fake his way through to the next election and hope nobody notices that he's bankrupting the country. Let's see. All right, I'm going to skip to the end here, and then we're going to move on because we got to keep going. Let's see. Radio streamer's tired again? All right. Well, I don't know what could wake him up. I've got no idea. Absolutely no idea. I know that he already had coffee, then espresso, then double espresso, and then crack cocaine, and then that blue meth from Breaking Bad, and then plus chewed on polar bear adrenaline glands. I don't know what we can give him to wake him up.
They, them, energy. They, them, energy. They, them, energy. They, them, energy.
That's a hell of a sales pitch right there. Hell of a sales pitch. Bristletube says this is on purpose to force us to join the EU. Well, I've talked about it on the channel a lot that the reason why Mark Carney is obviously trying to sabotage any kind of trade deal, with the United States. And I think we can expect he's going to try and blow up the Kuzma, the USMCA deal as well next year, because it comes up for renegotiation next year. And it was awfully convenient how we suddenly started getting polls about how much Canadians wanted to join the EU shortly after Mark Carney won the election. Thought that was awfully convenient. It's an insane plan. That would destroy Canada. The EU would want us for no other reason than to use us as a bargaining chip against the United States. They don't even need us for our energy at this point. They signed a huge deal with the States. It would be a disaster. But that would be a way that I think Mark Carney, who was obsessed with his net zero unicorn ideology, he would see that as a way to try and further his net zero alliance nonsense. Will that happen? I don't know. It's speculation, but something is very, very wrong. All right, Radio Streamer says, not teapotting minivan. I am so awake, I may be an addict. Radio Streamer is addicted to the they-them energy now. He can't get enough. It's the worst kind to be addicted to, though, I have to tell you. All right, let's move on. We just saw that one. Did I have another Pierre one here? I think that's it. Oh, I think that did we see this one? Pierre Poilievre says that his mother, this was posted by Jinglai Hey. Pierre Poilievre says that his mother could budget better than all of the Liberals and that she should be the new finance minister. I mean, I don't think he's far off. I think just any responsible person could probably do a better job.
Mr. Speaker, I can confirm he definitely does not know my mother. In fact, my mother knew how to budget better than anyone. She could stretch a dollar farther. In fact, I think she should come in here as the finance... We sure wouldn't have a PBO report showing the government adding $1/3 of $1 trillion of extra deficits. We know that every single dollar this Prime Minister spends comes out of the pockets of hard-working Canadians. Why don't they know that? Hear, hear. Mr. Speaker,
And then I'm sure the CBC had a panel talking about Pierre Poilievre's divisive tone. And, you know, is he super Trump or is he just regular mega Trump? Because they're biased. Rosie sent in $2. You know what that means? This is what happens when somebody appeals to my greed. Best person ever. Number one in all of our hearts. Rosie, best person ever. One more time. Everybody else is terrible. Now, another way people can become literally the best person of all time is by either becoming a member of the channel or gifting a membership. That's a very, very precious thing, and some consider it to be nature's greatest miracle. So that's just something. Also, everybody, wherever you are, subscribe to the channel immediately. Do that immediately. It's very important. I can't explain it right now. Let me just tell you, it's very important that you do that. Also, go and subscribe to the new YouTube channel. Rumble people, don't worry. Everything's exactly the same, but there's a new channel on YouTube, Radio Baloney News. It's got all kinds of wonderful things on it. As you can see here, it's got all kinds of wonderful videos that aren't going to be on the main channel, the one you're watching right now, which is now only for live streams and Canadian news. All of the American, world news, meme reviews, all that kind of stuff is on Radio Baloney News now. Here's Scott Jennings, and there's like the RFK and Trump Tylenol thing, and Big Brother's watching you in the UK police state. Keir Starmer, he's a fascist, I think. Lots of awesome stuff on here, but you won't be able to get it on the channel you're watching right now if you're on YouTube. You will have to go to the homepage, and then subscribe to the featured channel, which is Radio Baloney News. It's only a few weeks old. I need you guys to help me out with this because the algorithm is not going to help me. Thank you very much in advance. All right. Rosie says, don't listen to Richie. All the rest of you are awesome too. No, they're human garbage. Just kidding. You guys are also great too. Let's see. Now what are we doing? We're going to this UK thing very quickly. So, Britain is Broken posted this. A pub in New Brighton, England has been renamed the George Orwell and has the phrase, Big Brother is watching you, constantly projected on the side of the building. Bravo to whoever is behind this. It's hilarious, but it also tells you how serious the censorship is there now, with 12,000 people a year being arrested for things that they said on social media. Essentially, dissent, not liking the mass immigration policies. There we go. 2 + 2 = 5. He who controls the past controls the future. There's Keir. There's Keir Stormtrooper. Oh, he looks like a fanatic, doesn't he? Ministry of Truth. Ministry of Truth. So I like it. I love the fact they're doing this. The government will hate it. They'll probably arrest them all. Yeah. But good for them. Let's see. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer says climate change for why millions of third world military-age Muslim men are coming to the UK. So they've got to come up with a reason. I mean, the thing is that they're just dead set on doing this, and they just have to find some reason. It's whatever they say is not the reason why they're doing it, but they have to keep kind of changing it up. Let's hear them here.
I think we need to look at every aspect of illegal migration, upstream, looking at the causes, which of course are often poverty, climate change, persecution. Look at the causes. I think we need to look at every aspect.
Yep, climate change. It's everything. Climate change is responsible for everything. Everything. I think it might have had something to do with that Jimmy Kimmel getting suspended too. So Keir Starmer, he says he's going to force digital ID, like in China, right? Like in totalitarian countries. He's going to force digital ID on the British people, whether they like it or not. And they never tell you the actual reason why. If they told you the reason why, people wouldn't vote for them. So they have to make up things. So let's take a look.
One of our viewers got in touch and wanted us to ask this question. Russ Brown wanted us to ask you if you really believe that those profiting from human trafficking will think, oh dear, I have to check your digital ID now. I can't carry on paying you £1.50 an hour to work in my sweatshop.
I'm absolutely convinced that amongst the reasons that people travel through France, which is a safe country, to come to the United Kingdom, amongst the reasons is because it's easier to work in our illegal economy than it is in other countries. And we have to deal with that.
Bosses who are prepared to hire people illegally are not asking them for their national insurance card. So what's the evidence? What makes you think they're suddenly going to ask them for a digital ID?
We need to be really clear. You must have ID, mandatory digital ID in order to work, because we have to stop illegal working. If you look at any of the raids, we've massively increased the number of raids on working premises. It is absolutely clear that people are working illegally in numbers.
But why do you think that them having a digital ID, having to have a digital ID, would stop that problem when right now people are meant to have a national insurance number and card, and if they're not asked for that, a boss is willing already to break the rules? What's the difference going to be?
Well, the difference is this is on point of starting, not a retrospective exercise as it now is. It is an automatic collection of the information by the government, so we know exactly who is working in our economy, and it will help us enforce the rules that are there. But there's no point people saying to me, why do we need it, when we all acknowledge there is a problem? People are working illegally in our economy. It is amongst the reasons that people want to come to the United Kingdom.
So I guess it was impossible to stop people from working illegally in the UK before the digital ID, and all through all of British history. Everybody's just been completely flummoxed. How on earth could we prevent this? Well, you could prevent them from going into your country. That's one way. Also, some large percentage of them are never working anyway. They're just going straight onto benefits and are quite happy to do that, to just live off the British taxpayer. Obviously, this is not the reason. The reason is more control. Any left-wing government will move towards authoritarianism and control and central planning. It's not a bug. It's a feature of leftism, of progressivism, every single time. It's just part of their ideology, right? They think they know better than you. All right. All right, so here is Nigel Farage. So he's leading the Reform Party, which is a new party, which has just come out of nowhere, really, and looks like they're set to win the next election. He says, I cannot think of a more dangerous initiative than this. We simply have to say no. So Nigel Farage and Reform have basically replaced the Conservative Party. That Conservative Party that has betrayed the voters over and over and over again in the UK, and now is, a shadow of its former self. Let's take a look at this.
European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen, perhaps the most prominent advocate of that dreaded COVID passport, was out there advocating that we all have to have digital IDs because the future will be digital. You shouldn't have privacy. Apparently. Yeah, that's what she believes. She claims that the IDs can be a real booster to emerging economies. The trick is to build public digital infrastructure, she said, that is interoperable, open to all, and trusted.
The only important word there was trick, because that's what she's doing, tricking people.
Joining me now to explain just how dangerous this is, Nigel Farage, former Brexit Party leader. Nigel, this is about global government control and a way to what? Redistribute the wealth away from the so-called wealthy nations to everybody else?
Well, it's about control, isn't it? I mean, this is the most glaring example we've ever seen from a prominent world leader. Von der Leyen is the president of the European Commission, 450 million people living within that union. Oh, and by the way, she's unelected, she's appointed, and here she is brazenly saying, we need a digital ID card or app on our phones. Now, bear in mind, France and Germany are trialing this already. The European Union, she wants this to be enforced by the early 2030s and, may I add, backed up by a central bank digital currency, living in a cashless society. And now she wants the whole thing to go global. Can you imagine? On this ID card will be not just your date of birth, your gender, your eye color, your height, your approximate weight. There will be your vaccine status, your financial status, and goodness knows what else will be on that card. Can you imagine this data falling into the hands of bad actors? And if you think about it, I speak as somebody who's recently been debanked as a result of his political opinions. And this is happening in America too, as you well know, to lots of people. If we're not careful, we head towards a Chinese-style social credit system where unless you go along with the views of a day, you become a non-person. I cannot think of a more dangerous initiative than this. The problem we've got is we have to ask a question whether our leaders actually believe in our nation, because they're prepared to surrender sovereignty to the World Health Organization, the United Nations, the EU, and goodness knows what comes after that. And the truth of it is, the world will be a better, more prosperous, peaceful place if democratic nation states cooperate and trade together, not give away their powers to unelected bureaucrats. And that was the Brexit message all those years ago. I now think what our little island did becomes a stronger message for the world, and in particular, after what von der Leyen said. We simply have to say, no, we believe in liberty, we believe in freedom, we believe in the nation state.
These radical leftist leaders that we have in the West, well, in Canada, they have in the UK, they look at they look at China, the totalitarian system there, and drool. They look at it with nothing but envy. Justin Trudeau admitted it live on camera. They look at that and they drool. I mean, one click and you can deny somebody basically their entire life, banking, healthcare, travel, whatever. You can just one click and deny them every service. Yeah, I'm not comfortable with that. I don't want to live in China. I don't want my country to become like China. And this is being pushed everywhere. This Carney will try and bring this to Canada. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. All right. Do I have anything else in here? All right. So we've done all of that. Let us go back to the chat for a minute. I want to see what you guys have to say. And very quickly, I have to keep doing this while the channel is new. Just started this channel up a few weeks ago, this new channel, Radio Baloney News. It's not the one you're watching right now. The one you're watching now is 13,000 subscribers. This one does not, and it is just a few weeks old. All of the world news, U.S. news, UK news, meme reviews, all that stuff is going to go on Radio Baloney News now. So please go there and subscribe to that channel. You know YouTube won't help me out, so it's up to you guys. All right. Let's see. Bristol Tube says, great show. This is the first live stream I ever enjoyed. Awesome. Those are the kind of testimonials that I like a lot. Thank you. Let's see. Rosie says, no matter how big the issue, God is bigger. We are on your side. That's to Izzy. What's going on with Izzy? Let's see. All right. I'll have to come back to that. I'll have to come back to the chat drama. Let's see. JDL says he hates the UK. Keir Starmer. Yeah. They all of these leaders, the Trudeaus, the Carneys, the Joe Bidens, the Keir Starmers, they don't like Western civilization. They don't like their own countries. BristleTube says it's amazing to watch every conspiracy theory come true before your eyes. It's amazing. And that's why the intranet is so important. Like being able to have these channels, find these communities, because it's so. When I first started this channel, I mean, I thought that I was losing my mind, right? I was, looking into the news and just seeing that I was just being absolutely lied to. I started this channel right before COVID. And I think that my channel got flagged immediately because of that, because I was talking about like, hey, how about that lab in Wuhan that's like the same name as the virus? Maybe it came from there. And I'm looking at CNN and there's headlines like, oh, it's like a comic book conspiracy theory and stuff. Just seeing, not believing my eyes and thinking, am I going nuts? And it's important to have other people around to say, no, you're not crazy. This actually doesn't make sense. The things they're saying are obviously off. It was maddening, and it can be maddening and surreal because you see people that should be smarter who just want to believe, and there's nothing you can tell them. Streamer says, you watch the new argument, paper money needs to be issued so the illegals can't be paid. Do you mean paper money needs to be eliminated? I'm not sure. And let's see. JDL says Starmer is a Fabian socialist. Yes, he is, actually. I think they all are. The whole Labour Party is actually. They're socialist incrementalists. But it seems like they're kind of getting away from the incremental part, and they're just starting to go for it now. Let's see. Chef Rico says, cashless society works great until Russia does a high-altitude nuclear burst and your phone becomes a paperweight. That's a very good point. A very good point indeed. Let's see. Xerxes asks, is the man behind Ursula wearing a tablecloth? Probably. Probably. They love those tablecloths now. Let's see. All right. All right, we got Alien Fetus in the chat. Alien Fetus, you know what? I like it. Says, good show, eh? Thank you very much. That's a memorable name. Steve, how you doing? With digital currency, how will I hide my fast food habit from my wife? Damn it! They're trying to ruin everything. We'll figure out a way. Let's see. I'll just come by and I'll throw it over the fence for you. You can pay me in gold. Precious, precious gold. Rosie says, first live stream I ever enjoyed. I'm certain it was due to the chocolate diamond, just saying. All right. Let's see. All right, I'm going to skip down, and we're going to have to move on, because I kept saying we're going to be short tonight, like an hour and a half, and we're already an hour and 20, and we still got lots going on, so. But I'm having fun, so let's just keep going. Izzy says, wish I could afford to move to the U.S. I don't know. I'm thinking, if it comes to it, Idaho, maybe, or Montana. I think I'd be happy there. Bristletube says, I would send you some money, but the carbon tax took my last dollars. That damn carbon tax ruining my life. Let's see. Streamer's saying, we need you over here with the cool kids. Rumble chat is great. Yeah, so that's one thing. Like 98% of the chat that you see on the screen, that's all happening on Rumble. We got a great community over here, so very welcoming. It's a great place to be. Izzy says, maybe Alberta will become the 51st state. You know what? Things have gotten so crazy in Canada that I think nothing's off the table at this point. A problem with Canada might be that it's just turned into a huge San Francisco. That might be the problem. So that no matter how bad things get, there's just no bottom that's too low for enough of the population to ever want change. I think we might have just transitioned into just becoming a left-wing, a country of frozen left-wing retards. Possibly. Streamer says, no, the next U.S. territory, no voting rights for at least 30 years. Well, Alberta would vote Republican, so just so you know. Xerxes is saying Izzy could move to Texas. I think Texas would be too hot for me. I think this sounds like Idaho, Montana. That sounds nice. All right, let's move on. All right, what do we got next? So we're just going to spend a couple of minutes on this. From Table Salt posted this. Canada's financial watchdog exposes Carney's trick to try and split the Canadian budget in two. So Carney is doing this really transparent and I think just juvenile trick that he's trying to play on the Canadian public to deceive the Canadian public about how much money he's really spending, about how much debt he's going to create for the country. So he's saying he's going to do something that's never been done before, split the budget in two, what he calls the operating budget, and then investment. And his hope is, and it may not be a misplaced hope because, there were enough Canadians stupid enough to vote for a fourth Liberal term. But his hope is that Canadians will be tricked by this and fooled by this into not realizing that, yeah, he still has to borrow a bunch of money and it really is just spending. And in any other budget before, it would have just been part of the budget. But this is the trick he's hoping to play. And you know what? Again, Canada might just be San Francisco now. So maybe it'll work. But let's take a look. Here's the parliamentary budget officer, Jason Jacques. And I'm thinking that Carney probably regrets appointing him. Now, they're supposed to be independent, and he certainly does seem very independent. The role of the parliamentary budget officer is to advise the current government. Here he is at a finance committee, and it's eye-opening.
Words, what the Liberals mean when they say they're going to separate an operating budget from a capital budget. Like, what changes on the books when they do that?
The bottom line of the government will not change. So the international public sector standards that everyone uses to measure the deficit and levels of debt, that will not change. And the first reason that won't change is those are the accounting standards. The second reason is the ratings agencies won't change it. Like, that's the first thing they're going to go to. And if they have a sniff that somehow there's a change in presentation, you bet your boots that we're going to be paying more for debt pretty quickly.
So, for the benefit of Mark Carney's little trick here, we might end up having to pay more for the debt so that he can try and trick the Canadian people. It's Mark Carney was supposed to be this economic genius. That's what he was sold as. That's what the CBC teleprompters told us about Mark Carney. Oh, he's this button-down economic genius. I mean, when you look past the credentials, governor of the Bank of England, if you actually go and listen to the people, go look at articles or listen to what relevant people like Liz Truss have to say about Mark Carney, not good. Not good. Printed too much money. His net zero stuff devastated their economy. You've got pensioners now who have to choose between heating their homes or eating in the wintertime because of the net zero policies of Mark Carney that he pushed on that country. Not good. But the CBC teleprompters just told everybody about the credentials, how great the credentials were, and for obvious reasons didn't look any further. Mark Carney is not what he was sold as. I mean, this is reckless and beyond reckless, right? Beyond reckless. Canada can't afford to pay anymore for the debt. It's insane. So not in a good place, Canada. Not in a good place. All right, so that's that. Let's move on. Let's do some memes quickly. All right, so what's this? These edibles ain't... Wait, am I in the fucking Capitol? What was his name? It was the QAnon shaman. Was that it? QAnon shaman. I think that's it. An interesting guy. Totally harmless. I mean, he was trying to calm people down, and he was encouraging people to be peaceful. They still threw him in prison. Let's see. I can't believe you shot an eagle on the 9th, sir. CNN says Trump just shot 9 bald eagles. Is this real news? Did this really happen? I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, at this point, there is no low that they won't sink to. If that was actually real, I would just go, yeah, that's what they do. That's 100% what they do. What's this? The difference between socialism and communism. Let's see, from Mark Lewis there. There is no difference between communism and socialism. So this is Ayn Rand, who the left really hates her. There is no difference between communism and socialism, except in the means of achieving the same ultimate end. Communism proposes to enslave men by force, socialism by vote. It is merely the difference between murder and suicide, from Ayn Rand. Yeah, it does appear. I mean, let's not forget, Soviet Union was, union of socialist states. Socialist states. All that we see every single time that we get, what we see when radical leftists take over is that they move towards centralization, central planning, and authoritarianism every single time. So all of a sudden, there's certain speech that's now been defined as hate speech. And what is it? Well, it's speech that they hate, obviously. It's always moving towards that. In the UK, you've got 12,000 people a year being arrested for saying naughty things on the internet, or what Keir Starmer thinks is naughty. It's always the same end goal. It's because they're collectivists and they don't believe in individual rights. They don't care about the individual. That's why. That was funny. Say some more stupid shit. Communism just hasn't been done right yet. Does that work? That's making her laugh. All right. Mark Carney is an excellent deal maker. Mark Carney is a great negotiator. She's still laughing. Let's see. Eric Carmen says, accepting socialism is basically admitting you can't compete in the real world. You're saying, I'm willing to give up my liberty, my religion, my dreams, as long as the state will take care of me. Accepting socialism is accepting failure. It's the complete opposite of America. Well, it's the opposite of freedom is what it is. And there are people that don't want to be free, and you have to just accept that. There's always going to be a certain portion of the population that does not want to be free, that longs for the boot on the face. We saw that during the lockdowns. There were people in Canada. I think the majority of the population was thrilled to have their rights removed and replaced with privileges. So when the government when they did what they were told, the government patted them on the head and say, okay, you can go see a movie now. Aren't you excited? You can go for dinner now. Aren't you excited? You've been such good little boys and girls. And they were thrilled. And they were thrilled and they gloried in it. They gloried in it. They gloried in the fact that there were people who couldn't go on a plane or a train now. And it made them feel very special. And they enjoyed it. It made them feel important, is what it did. And it turns out they preferred privileges that can be taken away at any time if they're disobedient to just rights, God-given rights. This is something that we saw. This was not something I expected, or at least I didn't expect it from so many people. I thought it would be, a relatively minor portion of the population, not most of it. Shocking. I mean, there's been, over the last 10 years, there's been a lot of scales removed from our eyes, hasn't there? Over the last 10 years, a lot of illusions have been shattered. Have they not? Do we have any more? What's this here? Who's this posted by? This was posted by Freaky something? I don't know. What is that? Freaky Squid 3. When self-driving vehicles become mainstream, dead old people will occasionally just show up at their destinations. What a nightmare future we have to look forward to, huh? What a nightmare future. Well, at least they don't have porn theaters anymore, so my body won't end up there. Thank goodness. Happy landings. Who posted this? This was Bill McGarrity. So elbows up. These are all those liberal voters with their elbows up. The lemmings running off the cliff. See them, they're happy there. They're falling down and they're thrilled. And these ones here, they know they're about to go off the cliff and they're still happy. This perfectly represents the liberal voter in Canada right now. Just totally heedless and clueless and right over the cliff. And they're happy to do it. Happy to go over. Elbows up itself was such an idiotic lowest common denominator slogan for the last election. That should have been viewed as the cliff, because Canada was never going to win a trade war with the United States. That's insane. That's incredibly stupid, right? Economy 13 times bigger than Canada's. That was the cliff right there, and they happily ran over. All right, and I think that's what this is describing, isn't it? Their elbows up right off the cliff. All right, well, that's the end of that. Let's go back to the chat for a minute. We're getting close to the end. Thank God. Let's see. Streamer says, haha, perfect encapsulation of CNN. Yep. Izzy says, believable. Let's see. Radio Streamer says, more commie hate. Commie gets nothing. All right. Denny, how you doing? Good to see you. All right. Turtles. This just in, let's see. This just in, October 1st, remittance from America to other countries are going to be taxed. Okay, so people working in the United States sending money back to Mexico or wherever, or India, whatever, those are going to be taxed. Not quite sure. Should do some more research, but we're winning. Well, that's a lot of money, and it's not good for the economy to have so much money being made there and then shipped out. Let's see. Bristletube says, welcome to the propaganda nation. Canada may be the most propagandized country in the world. Well, competing with North Korea. I think that's what Viva Fry says, but I agree. Let's see. Bristletube says the boots of the beast are on the necks of the righteous. Yep. There's far too many Canadians who want the boot on the face. And it's sad. That's something that's different. Canada did not used to be like that. Pre-post national Canada was not like that. All right. What do we got here? What these WEF dingbats, globalist dingbats. First a digital ID, then a carbon score. Track what you eat, where you go, what you buy. Well, we know what the World Economic Forum wants. They want totalitarianism. Obviously, this is where all of the radical, leftist, progressive world leaders get together and share their awful ideas with each other.
We're developing, through technology, an ability for consumers to measure their own carbon footprint. What does that mean? That's where are they traveling? How are they traveling? What are they eating? What are they consuming on the platform? So, individual carbon footprint tracker. Stay tuned. We don't have it operational yet, but this is something that we're working on.
Geez, I wonder if some authoritarian government might find that handy, huh? No thanks. No thanks. Not interested. Not interested, WEF. I have to keep reminding myself to do this because YouTube is not going to help me. There is a new Radio Baloney channel on YouTube. There is a second channel now. It's Radio Baloney News. It's only a few weeks old. The one you're watching right now is the original Radio Baloney, the one with 13,000 subscribers. If you go to the homepage, the feature channel is Radio Baloney News. Please subscribe. All of the world news, the U.S. news, the meme reviews, all of that awesome stuff, the woke mind virus stuff is going on the new channel, Radio Baloney News. I need your help. YouTube won't help me. It's up to you guys. Thank you very much. All right, I had another WEF World Economic Forum video here. So in this one, you've got Pfizer CEO Albert Bourla. So you know it's not going to be good. You know you're not going to like what you hear on this. He's very excited. They have an electronic tracking pill. Perfect for dictators, for authoritarian governments modeling themselves on the party from 1984.
FDA approved the first electronic pill, if I can call it like that. It is basically biological chip that it is in the tablet. And once you take the tablet and dissolves into your stomach, sends a signal that you took the tablet. So imagine the applications of that, compliance, the insurance companies to know that the medicines that patients should take, they do take them. It is fascinating what happens in this field. It is...
Or you take the pill and shove it up your ass and then see what happens then. How about that?
Basically biological chip that it is in the tablet. And once you take the tablet and dissolves into your stomach, sends a signal that you took the tablet. So imagine the applications of that, compliance.
Compliance. So weirdly, this guy at the World Economic Forum, Albert Bourla here, is all for compliance. I guess you complying, I guess. That's what he's saying.
Insurance companies to know that the medicines that patients should take, they do take them. It is fascinating what happens in this field. FDA.
I don't feel like complying. That's the thing. I don't feel like complying. I don't feel like it at all. I don't feel like complying with what any of these people want. Not interested, actually. Not interested. All of the things that you want, again, shove them up your own asses and then find out what happens. In fact, hold on one second.
You can stuff it up your ass for nothing and fuck off while you're doing it.
That's a good idea. All right. All right. Let's see what you guys are saying. Let's go back to the chat for a second. One more time. What's going on? Hold on. Oh, talking about those self-driving cars when you die in them, Trudeau Survivor says the cars will detect someone died inside, and rather than going to the hospital, it will drive to the crematorium. Maybe the cars will just, I mean, in Canada, I'm sure the government will put like a thing in the car that it can just kill you, just like instant made in Canada, medical assistance in dying, and then take you to the crematoria. Chef Rico says Harriet Tubman would be MAGA. I don't think that modern leftists, like modern liberal voters or Democrat voters, understand just how extreme their parties are now. Compared to, if you look at things that Hillary Clinton was saying or Obama 20 years ago, I mean, they would have to be considered fascist by themselves now, right? Their modern version of themselves would call them fascist in a second. I think most people that are just, kind of unaware, they're just reflexive voters, just they've always voted one way, they've always voted for the liberals or the Democrats or something. This incremental, it's not even that incremental anymore. It's gone really extreme now, but very quickly. But they don't seem to understand how extreme they've become. The parties have become. I think many of them don't really know what is happening in their names. Let's see. I'm going to scooch down in the chat a little bit. Xerxes says, I'm almost 80 and have to go to sleep. Well, thank you for stopping in. It's lovely to see you, as always. And have a good sleep with all your good karma. Let's see. Bristletube says, I can't wait to have my farts carbon taxed. Yes. So there'll be the pill that you swallow, and then there'll be the suppository carbon monitoring thing that that somebody shoves up your ass for you. You probably won't be able to do it yourself, right? Because they want to be sure it's up there. So probably have somebody come by your house. Probably an illegal immigrant. All right. Danny says, I own a pizzeria. How is this going to work on my carbon footprint despite the ovens? The ovens is always on. I think that it's going to be illegal. I think pizzerias will be illegal in the future. Radio Streamer says, I hear communism in a pill. Yep. I do too. All right. Let's all right, we're on the last tab now. Hour and 44 minutes. Wow. So here's Michael Rapaport. He's weighing in on Democrat candidate Zoran Mamdani. So here is Michael Rapaport weighing in on Democrat candidate Zoran Mamdani. And in case you didn't know, Zoran Mamdani is just a full-on commie. Just straight up commie. who's closing in on becoming the next mayor of New York City. Now, I hear Mayor Adams just dropped out, so maybe that will affect the race a little bit. But Michael Rapaport used to focus on Trump derangement syndrome. So every video was him being utterly deranged about Trump. And then October 7th happened in Israel, and he saw the leftists, the people that he thought were his allies, out celebrating and partying while the bodies were still warm. And he went, oh, wait a second. They actually want me dead. And realized they're not his friends. They are not his friends after all. So he's had a bit of a transformation here. I don't think he's not MAGA, right? But he's not living under any illusions about what the modern left is anymore. And he's still crazy. Let's take a look.
Moron.
Actually.
We're this close. We're this close to having Zoran the moron become mayor of New York City unless you motherfuckers wake up. This bullshit artist, 2-bit terror supporting rich Nepo baby con artist is shoveling shit, throwing shit at you, and motherfuckers are eating it up. This socialist communist fraud is leading the polls to become mayor of New York City. This guy is exactly what he pretends to be against, and never had a real job in his life. Silver spoon, born with a silver spoon, so far up his keister. That's why he's always smiling so much. I'm Zoran the moron. What the fuck are you smiling so much? That bullshit, perpetual, fake fucking grin. Can't believe this guy is leading. I can't believe this guy is leading the polls to become mayor of New York City. What a fucking insult. And you're eating the bullshit he is shoveling down your throat like a 50-cent hot dog from Papaya King. And I guarantee you Zoran has no idea what a 50-cent hot dog from Papaya King tastes like, because he's not from New York. He's not from New York. He's not a New Yorker. He doesn't think like a New Yorker. He doesn't walk like a New Yorker.
Okay, so anyway, he's woken up and realized that those same people that he used to make Trump derangement syndrome TikToks for now would celebrate and dance in the streets if he were killed. Right? So, yeah, he recognizes that. I mean, it seems prudent to recognize the people who actually would take joy in your demise. So, good for him, I guess. I still think he's kind of deranged. I still think he's a bit Trump deranged, but not as much anyway. So he's at least identified the people who are actually dangerous for him. And Zoran's one of those people, I think. Let's see. Well, this is what we call a palate cleanser. So with all of the awfulness in the world, sometimes you just have to see a puppy. But I can't play that music. I'll turn the music off. All right. Look at that. Look at that guy. He's helping out. Look, he's helping. Good Lord, that's adorable. He's helping. He's got a job. He wants to help. He wants to pitch in. Ah, good Lord. It's too much. I can't handle it. I can't handle it. My heart is breaking. Too adorable. All right. That's why we call it a palate cleanser, people. Don't you feel better now? Let's see. So this is bad. So Benny Johnson posted this. This is Bad Bunny. He was just announced as the 2026 Super Bowl halftime show. Massive Trump hater, anti-ICE activist, no songs in English. He even canceled his entire U.S. tour for this reason. Effing ICE could be outside my concert, and it's something that we were talking about and very concerned about. Well, there's a lot of these people who are, I guess, they say that they're stars, but they're not really. And there's a lot of them that are canceling concerts because they're not selling tickets. Tickets are too expensive, and they're not actually even really that popular. And they're all just kind of the same thing anyway. All their music is written by the same 5 producers. So, yeah, a lot of them are just making up excuses. Maybe that's what he's doing here. The NFL is self-destructing year after year. So really, this is the NFL now? That the NFL thought, okay, this is the guy for the halftime show. This represents NFL or NFL fans. This guy, I'm not so sure. It just seems like incredibly idiotic and a public relations disaster. So I don't know. Not interested anyway. I stopped watching NFL. I mean, I around 2020 when all the leagues got really political, I stopped watching them all. I only watch boxing and UFC now. But I think I've caught like a couple of Super Bowls since then, but not really interested, I got to say. Matt Walsh says we must not allow Muslims to take over America. You know, at the risk of being Islamophobic, although that doesn't really make sense, does it? Because that's an irrational fear. So is it totally irrational? Like if you are like a feminist, for instance, and you take a look at a bunch of women on your street totally covered in burqas with just like a slit for their eyes, would it be irrational to fear that, right? Would it be irrational? And now, for some reason, they don't. The same women that are out every 5 minutes taking their tops off to protest something, some misogyny or something. And it kind of almost seems like they just like taking their tops off in public sometimes, doesn't it? But those same ones don't seem to have any problem with the women covered head to toe who, I mean, obviously they're forced to do it, right? Or at least some percentage of them are forced to do it. I don't know. The whole world just don't make a damn bit of sense anymore. It's almost like the whole left now is not really about what they say they're about, huh? It's almost like they're just about communism. Weird.
We are allowed to take control of our own country. We're allowed to say, no, you're not going to Islamicize our cities. No, you're not going to do that. This is America. Okay, I want to actually go back to Dearborn for a moment. Because as we talked about Dearborn a little bit on the show recently, and I've been aware of the Islamicization of Dearborn, I hadn't really looked into it that deeply. But the more you look into it, and the more research you do about what's happening in Dearborn, it is insane. I mean, it is mind-blowing. I think people don't realize, however bad you think it is, it's so much worse. And if you live there, you know this, but for people that don't live there, you might not understand just how bad it is. That Dearborn has essentially become an Arab state. It's a Middle Eastern Islamic capital right in the middle of the American heartland. And for some reason, we've allowed that to happen. We don't have to allow it. We don't have to allow that, actually. We are allowed to not allow that. But we did. And now the people of the city, along with, here's the latest thing, along with all the other problems with living in a Middle Eastern Islamic capital, the latest, and this is just from this week, the people of the city find themselves woken up at 5 a.m. by the Muslim call to prayer. Watch this.
But the mosques in East Dearborn are now at times waking us up at 5:30 in the morning with the call to prayer.
This is Dearborn resident Andrea Unger at last night's city council meeting stating that mosques using outdoor loudspeakers for their call to prayer should not be allowed, and says she believes it's not supposed to be allowed per city ordinance.
The noise complaints have been made out and the police have made numerous visits. What is the next step?
There was some question whether or not any outdoor loudspeakers are allowed, something that was not clarified, only that more evidence is being gathered. But CBS Detroit did examine Dearborn's noise ordinance and found that loudspeakers between the hours of 10 p.m. and 7 a.m. are in violation of the ordinance.
So that is the sound you get to hear if you live in a city in Michigan. That's the sound. And I was talking about this on X and somebody said, I saw a few comments that said, well, what about church? What about church bell? You got a problem with that, with the Muslim call to prayer over the loudspeaker? But what about church bells? You got an issue with, well, what's the difference? Well, I'll tell you the difference. Number one, church bells are much more beautiful. Number two, church bells don't ring at 5 a.m. And number three, America is a Christian country.
I gotta say, I'd be pissed off if I was woken up every morning at 5:30 by that gibberish. My question is, for all of those women out there who absolutely love Handmaid's Tale and even maybe put on their Handmaid's Tale costume to go out and protest occasionally. Like there is a real patriarchy, like from the Handmaid's Tale, like it exists, right? Like we know it. Like, let's just be honest with ourselves here. Like all the women are not going to decide to wear burqas just on their own. They're not all going to say, yeah, I just never want to ever be exposed. Like, I don't ever want to be outside and just feel like the wind on my skin ever again. I want to be in this bag forever. Of course, there's, different strokes for different folks, but you're never going to get all the women saying, yeah, I want to be constricted to this bag, no matter if it's 100 degrees out or whatever, right? That's just not going to happen. So obviously something's going on there, right? Something's going on. Feminists just don't seem at all interested for some reason. It's almost as if it's not really about feminism. It's almost as if, the Queers for Palestine, which is totally crazy. It's not really about that. It's almost as if everything's just about Marxism. That's the only thing there is, because nothing else makes sense, right? Because they're all Marxists. Interesting fact about The Handmaid's Tale. Margaret Atwood, who wrote The Handmaid's Tale, was inspired by the 1979 Iranian Revolution when the mullahs took over, and it was a very westernized country when the revolution happened, and women could dress like Western women, right? Skirts and all that kind of stuff. And then she saw them being forced to, cover their hair and whatnot, and dress modestly by the mullahs. And that was the inspiration. The idea was, well, what if that happened in the United States? Well, it didn't, but they're just pretending that it did. It's very, very stupid, actually, and retarded. Anyway. Look at this. Vulture tries to eat dog. Let's check it out. From Massimo. This vulture's waiting for it thinks the dog is dying, I guess.
What's going on here? What's going on, bird? What's happening? What are you doing? Yeah. He's not going to eat you. He's not going to eat you. I got you. What about you?
But Vulture is just like, oh, come on. You can't just lie there like that. I'm starving. There must be something dead around here somewhere. I'm really glad I'm not a vulture. All right. Let's watch some Bill Maher here before we go. Let's watch one Bill Maher. I'm going to save the rest for next time. Bill Maher brutally breaks down why conservatives can't align themselves with the left. Let's take a peek. What is he saying here? And is Bill Maher finally waking up?
They see gender as only a construct and sex is assigned at birth, and they say, we're not doing that. Transing kids by self-diagnosis with no age limit, no parental notification, and no acknowledgement of social contagion, not doing it. Asylum now covers any reason for anyone to come to America, not doing it. Homelessness is a lifestyle. Natural immunity doesn't count anymore. Whiteness is toxic. Penises in women's prisons. Welcoming the Intifada. We're not doing it. And so, folks, if we are ever going to get back to the old America, that's got to be the Democrats' part of the bargain. Stop coming up with radically new and often terrible ideas, and then in the next breath, insist there be no debate about any of it. That if you don't see it right away and go along, you're bad, stupid, and deplorable. As if you were saying, duh, 2 + 2 = 5. Isn't that obvious? Yeah, it's obvious you can't add. You can't just say shit. Math is racist. Queers for Palestine. Looting is cool. Healthy at any weight. If the men's football team played the women's team, it would be a tie. You can't just say shit. I mean, you can, but it doesn't make it true because you're not Harry Potter. Smug self-righteousness in the defense of some of the dumbest ideas to ever come down the pike is not a formula that's really working for you.
Yeah. You can't keep just putting up. They can't keep just putting up. And this is in every Western country, by the way. It's not unique to the United States. It's this. The left is the same everywhere in Canada, UK, Australia, wherever. Certainly the Anglosphere. They're just all the same drones from the same hive mind. But they can't keep putting up these ridiculous propositions, these obviously false ideas, and then call you a bunch of names if you question it, and just say, well, actually, that's not an accurate description of reality. So here's an accurate description of reality. Really, we're trying to help them. We're trying to help them overcome their delusions. Men on average are stronger and faster and tougher than women. That's just an accurate description of reality. Sure, there are some women who defy that, but on average, it's just what everybody can see, right? And men and women don't have to be exactly the same, right? We can complement each other. Isn't that a nice idea? I believe Bill Maher has become an independent now, hasn't he? Hasn't he said he's become independent? I think so. Radio Streamer says, Bill will never wake up, in my opinion. Yeah, he might. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe there was a change after he went and met Trump, right? Maybe that affected him a bit. He said that Trump is totally different in person than he's not at all the character that you see on TV. All right. Well, that's it. So that's it for tonight. 2 hours. Okay, that's a short one. You know what? 2 hours is a good length for a stream, though, isn't it? I still got some energy left, even though we do got to go. But it's actually really good length for a stream. Maybe we'll try and make more of them 2 hours. Of course, that's impossible. I won't be able to do that, obviously, because I like to blab too much. But we can dream. Let's see. Let's get to the last bit of the chat here. Trudeau Survivor says, New York City, 5 a.m. call to prayer, loudspeakers incoming. Yeah, probably. It's not going to endear them to anybody, I don't think. Chef Rico asks, do you have a carbon permit for your puppy? Here, have the puppy take this pill. This carbon monitoring pill. Chef Rico asks, why is the NFL shooting itself in the foot? Just stupid, I guess. I guess it's just run by idiots. Trudeau Survivor says, YouTube Music plays random non-English songs. It bugs me there is no option to only play songs with English lyrics. They should have that, right? Bristletube says, that guy, you're talking about the Bad Bunny guy, that guy is going to be booed off the stage. This is not his target audience. What a joke. You do have to wonder, what the hell are they thinking? Are they just stupid? Radio Streamer says, it all makes sense. Damned commies everywhere. Shut up, commie. Commie gets nothing. That's the way it should work. Trudeau Survivor says, I miss the slut walks. I know, those were great. Let's see. All right, I'm going to skip down a little bit. Trudeau Survivor says, that dog is a vulture tease. I think you're right about that. Let's see. Radio Streamer says, Bill will never wake up, in my opinion. I don't know. Rosie says, we are so glad you are not a vulture too, Richie. I'm not. I can tell you guys that straight up. I am absolutely not. Radio Streamer says, talking about Bill Maher, he knows what's right and he will not pull that lever. He cares more about his money, in my opinion. You cannot get that close to the truth and never reach it without being complicit. The political fashion is so powerful for a lot of people. Like, their identity is really tied into it, right? Bill Maher's always been a Democrat. He's always argued for Democrats. He's always argued against Republicans. And it's really hard to let go of that. Really hard. All right. JDL says, take care, everyone. Take care, JDL. All right. Radio Streamer says, we demand noodles. At least you'll have to come back on Friday. Nevada says, noodles. I can't go looking for that bookmark now. It'll take me forever. Nevada says, NFL run by stinking commies. Stinking commies. That's what we think of those stinking commies. Let's see. Chef Rico says, all right, God damn it. Things I do for you people. All right, we'll find it. It might take a little while. All right, here we go. Where is it? Where is it? Where is the cooking show tab? It's way down. I got to keep scrolling for it. Let's see. No, that's not it. Nope. 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 God damn it. Where is it? It's so far down the list of topics. Way too many bookmarks. No, I think I went past it. Damn it. Where is it? There. Got it. All right. You people ready? Get ready, everybody. It's the show. It's what everybody came for. The Hypnotic noodle making show. Hypnotic. I find it really calming, actually. Really calming and kind of cathartic, I would say. Kind of cathartic. So since we brought this show on, I'm going to take 1 second before we go back to the chat for a second and say an appeal to everybody watching on YouTube right now. Rumble people don't have to worry. But on YouTube, there is a new channel, Radio Baloney News. It's only a few weeks old. YouTube is not going to help me push this channel. What you're watching right now is the original Radio Baloney with 13,000 subscribers. This is for live streams and Canadian news. Everything else, U.S., international, meme reviews, mind virus stuff, all going to be on Radio Baloney News. YouTube is not helping me. I'm relying on you guys. You guys have to do the work here. Subscribe to the channel. If you go to the homepage for the main channel, featured channel is Radio Baloney News. Thank you so much. Back to noodles over here. All right, Hypnotic. Absolutely hypnotic. Steve Tolson says, Bill Maher isn't atheist. There's no way he will ever disavow a left permanently. Well, he is an atheist, Bill Maher. He is an atheist. Let's see. You never know. Sometimes, probably not. I mean, what he's basically done is disavowed the Democrats, but without embracing the Republicans. So it's just that, with so many of them, they've been so trained to find just the word conservative so distasteful, so unfashionable. It really hurts them, the idea of ever saying, well, I'm a conservative. Whatever a conservative is now, I'm that. I'm not with the lunatics. I'm not with batshit crazy anymore. So whatever this is now, all the non-crazy people, call it conservative or whatever, I'm with that. That's how I describe myself. I'm just with the not batshit crazy. So call it conservative, whatever. I'm with the not crazy people. Radio Streamer says, no, that beats the hell out of ramen. I am totally focused on the noodles. Totally focused on the noodles. 100%. How does noodles never get burned? Rosie asks. Skill, just skill and experience. Trudeau Survivor says 12 rules for life. Number 1, organize your bookmarks. They are. It's just that there's only, like, you can't actually organize. That's a feature on X that I don't like, is that you can't organize them alphabetical or something. It's just this eternal kind of mix, hodgepodge. So you have to literally scroll through to find what you want. Let's see. Steve Tolson says, worth the wait. I give the people what they want. If they want hypnotic noodle making, I give them that. Chef Rico makes a great point here. He cannot pull the lever, but good Lord, the Republican Party is the blue dog Democrats of the 90s. I don't, you listen to Hillary Clinton 20, 30 years ago, listen to, Barack Obama 20 years ago. Like, how people could not realize how extreme that party has gone over the last 20 years, I have no idea. It's like history just starts anew every morning for those people. It's crazy. All right. Well, that's it, people. I guess we're done. Should I maybe try and do one more ad read, though? What do we got? How about a wonderful Rumble ad, I think. Let's do that. Let's do a wonderful Rumble ad. Beautiful. Let's go. It's go time. All right, people, if you haven't already, make sure you download the Rumble app. It's free, simple to use, also communism free, and the best way to stay connected to the content that you want. Once you got it, search for my channel and hit follow. That way, you'll get a notification every time we go live. No missed shows, no extra steps, no communism. You can grab it right now using the link in the description or the pinned live chat. Download it to your phone and you're ready to go. And if you prefer watching on the big screen, I love watching on the big screen. Rumble is available on all major streaming devices and smart TVs. It's really smart if it's got Radio Baloney on it. Just search for Rumble, follow the channel, and be part of the action. You know what to do. Felt good, folks. Felt good supporting an awesome platform. Felt good. Rosie says, Rumble ad growls, commie hate, 10 out of 10. That's almost the most you can get out of 10, folks. Beautiful. Chef Rico says 10 out of 10. Rosie did a bunch of American flags. Beautiful. Radio Streamer says, wait, a place and practice and invest free speech, anti-communist sentiment, 9.8 out of 10. Is that the most you can get out of 10? I'm not sure. I'm not a mathematician or a biologist. All right. Nevada says, good ad. Thank you very much. Well, let's call it a night with that. This was, I think, I want to commend everybody. I think this was a very productive live stream tonight, and you all played a big part in that. I think we're all better people now, quite frankly. But, yeah, if it weren't for you guys, I wouldn't bother doing this because it would be boring and lame. So thanks for showing up. Be back on Friday. I do want to just mention midway through October, we are going to be missing some streams. I'm going off on a road trip with Princess Baloney. So we will be gone for 5 days. So we'll miss the Friday nights on the 17th. We'll miss the Sunday nights, and there won't be a Monday premium stream. Then we'll be back on Tuesday. So, yeah, we'll be on it'll be a Tuesday, then nothing until the next Tuesday. But that's not for a couple of weeks yet, so we're all good. But anyway, thanks, everyone, and have a great rest of the week. And I'll see everyone on Friday night. Is it Friday? Yeah, Friday night, 7:30 Pacific time, 10:30 Eastern time. See you then. Have a great time.